If you want to do your own tier list, exclamation point tier list. Also, people watching on YouTube, the tier list will be in the description below if anyone wants to do it. So let's go and start off with the first one, the obvious one that has not changed at all. I do think they could potentially look a little bit better next season, but I'm gonna rank them the exact same we had them last year, which is C tier. I didn't upload that video, but we did it a lot on stream. Gator and Hawk still gonna be C tier. Nothing much has changed, I should say. Now we have Punk and Stan one. In the Still Series tournament, they look good, but we shouldn't really go off a lot of that, but we can a little bit. We can find like in the middle. I would say B tier. I do think fully prediction wise, they are probably going to be B tier. Maybe C. I could see him dropping that to C. But for me, if I didn't even watch Still Series tournament, I probably still would put him B tier for me. Stan one is all around a solid main tank player. Punk is going to look way better on this team. You have the coaching and everything. A lot of all Boston Uprisings is going to look better with the coaching they have now all around. So Stan 1's going to be good. Punk's going to be good. I think this is going to be a solid tank duo. Do I think it could fail? I do think this tank duo can fail. Then we have Gaga and Elsa. Gaga being a massive upgrade to this team is going to help this team out by a lot. Elsa, we'll see. I think he'll be really good beside Gaga on top of this. So I think all around with just Gaga being there, it's really going to change the Chengdu Hunters all around. Because Elsa's still there. And every season of the league, actually, I've never been really impressed with Elsa. But Gaga, what I have seen, was one of the best main tanks and Chinese contenders, and I think will really impact this team. I really do think so. But Elsa, all around, really needs to really prove himself, I should say. I think all around, though, I am going to put him B, though. When I see this tank duo and how I think they're going to play and predict it all around, I think they're all going to be the definition of a solid tank duo. I do think so. For me personally, I think they're going to be solid. Not top tier. Fearless and Hanbin. Let me just put them right there. Okay. You're taking two S tier players and just putting them together. Easy. You had Fearless, who dominated on the Shanghai Dragons all season long. Best Winston, had a good Reinhardt, good Orisa. Then you have Hanbin. I would say probably top 3 off tank, maybe top 5, make it safer. Off tank last season. And now they're playing together. This is going to be really good for the fuel. Hopefully they really look good with the fuel next season, I should say. Best Sigma, yeah. Hanbin had one of the best Sigmas in the league, one of the best Divas, one of the better Zaryas in the league when he got to play it. Wasn't a lot of Zarya play time, but Hanbin really got a lot of Zarya play time. This is going to be a top tier tank duo for sure, playing beside the parts they have as well and the coaches. I'd love to see how Dallas performs. Hopefully they don't disappoint. I think this has been one of the better parts of Dallas Field so far, even to the most recent tournament. Like, Fearless and Hanbin still look good in the weekends they lost. So I think they'll be still top tier. Florida Mayhem, OG, and Gargoyle. I want to put them A, but it can fall down. This tank duo can easily fall down during the season. Definition of A tier, I would almost agree with that. OG has really been up and down a lot all seasons, I should say, for Overwatch League. We're talking Dallas, we're talking Gladiators, really inconsistent. And this is really his last year. We put OG in A tier every year because we all love OG, right? And I think this will be a good year for him. We're saying it again. For the Florida Mayhem, playing beside Gargoyle, also playing beside Kuki. I say playing, but coached by Kuki. So I think this is his year, his last year, if anything, if he does not improve. I'm seeing a lot of people believe in him. I really believe in OG this year. Like, this is a year I really believe in him. I didn't really fully believe in it in the Gladiators, but I really believe in this year for OG. Guangzhou Charge, Rio, and Krong. Potentially we'll be seeing Jihoon in here. But I do think... I think it's the same. It's the same tank duo. Will it be different with the team looking like? Maybe. But Rio and Krong, you didn't have to change that much. Honestly, you really didn't. They look good as a tank duo last season. You have Rio, who can play almost every main tank in the league at a really good level, especially top tier level. You have Krong, one of the best off tanks in the league. He can play a really good Sigma, really good Diva. He has a somewhat good Zarya. Like Rio, Krong, they didn't have to change that much. You can probably find an upgrade somewhere a couple years from now over Rio, but like Jihoon, if Jihoon got the playtime over Rio, I wouldn't be surprised because Jihoon honestly looked really good in the most recent tournament. Isn't Jihoon a ball one-trick player though? That doesn't really matter. Like, if you watch the tournament, Jihoon played Rhine over Rio the first couple of maps, like the first map I should say, almost every game, and looked really good. And like, he has a solid Winston, he has a solid Orisa, His ball is probably his best hero, though. I would agree with that, yes. But his Ryan looked good as well. So if there's ever like any Ryan metas on like map 1s, we'll see Ji-Hoon come in. Now we have Guangzhou and Bernard, A tier. Guangzhou's been A tier tank all the seasons he's been in the league, I should say. Season 2, 3, hopefully this next 4 on the 4th one. So Guangzhou, one of the best Winstons in the league, one of the best Reinhardts in the league, really good Orisa. You have Bernard, one of the best off tanks all around in the Overwatch league. Guangzhou, Liga, and Bernard is a great combo. Yeah, but I think Guangzhou and Bernard will be the starting tank duo. We saw that in the tournament as well. Bernard, one of the best off tanks all around from the London Spitfire, especially in contenders. One of the best divas, I should say. Also one of the best Sigmas, I should say. Bernard's really good beside Guangzhou. Also on a better team. Like, they will be really good if Bernard on this team. Guangzhou playing beside Bernard, gonna be really good. Then you have Xiaomansu as well. Even though he's not an off tank player, he'll play Zarya potentially. I do think this is gonna be a really good tank duo coming in the next season. Absolutely. My favorite tank duo, Piggy and Chengdu. Put them down here. I think personally, like this tank duo is not the most flexible in the league. They really just I mean, hey, maybe the starting meta will be good for them. They like Ryan and Zarya could be really good for this team. But that's it. Like, these guys really forced it a lot in contenders and looked kind of up and down a lot. Chengdu is a good Reinhardt. Doesn't have the greatest Winston. Doesn't have the greatest Orisa. Then you have Piggy, who really is only good on Zarya. Not the greatest diva. Not the greatest hog. Like, these guys are really not the most flexible tanks in the league. I do think, though, these guys do have potential. Junkbunk obviously was a big part of it. I do think these guys could be good. I could maybe put them to D tier to be nice. But I really don't have that much faith in these tank duo. I really don't. Like, they're really not the most flexible tank duo in the league. They really aren't. And that may be a huge, like, L for the team. Because, like, let's say there was a Winston Diva meta. They're not going to be that good. They just aren't. Like, Chengdu doesn't have the best Winston we've seen so far. Piggy really doesn't have the greatest, like, Diva we've seen. So, obviously, they have Junkbunk, they have Harsh, they have great coaches. They could help them get that make them go up to D. But I'm really, like, convinced they probably are F tier, honestly. That's just me. Hadi and Molfig. I'll probably put them C, though, for now. I will. I do think these guys could be honestly solid coming in the next season, though. I need to really wait and see when it comes to this tank duo. Playing it safe, put them in C. They are probably one of the best parts in British Hurricane. For sure. Molfig is one of the best off tanks and contenders. Hadi was one of the best main tanks in the contenders. And I saw Hadi better than Gator. I think this tank duo is probably better than Atlanta's tank duo, I would say. But I think these guys could potentially be B tier, personally. But I'm putting them C. I'm putting them C for now. I do think these guys are going to be a solid main tank duo for sure coming to the next season. Being on this new London Spitfire roster, I do think all around London Spitfire is all just going to be a solid, you know, what's the word? I said it all the time. Dark horse coming in the next season. I think a lot of it will be based off of these guys specifically. They have a really good like synergy playstyle that will go together and just probably help this team get some wins, honestly. Muse in Space. Muse coming in, really upgrading this team. Space has been a top off tank every season long. It's honestly crazy how consistent this guy is every time you think about it. Now it just comes in, where do we rate him? I think they're still going to be good, though, personally. If it was anything in order, I'm going to do that now and probably make me feel a little bit more comfortable. They are the top of A. They are the top of A. I think they're way better than all the tank duos in this tier, but they will probably not be as good as the tank duos that we'll see in S tier later on, I do feel like. Muse has been a top main tank player in contenders for a while now. Coming in for the Gladiators, being in the Overwatch League, playing around the team that he has around him will just look really good with Moth, Shu, Space, Kevster, Birdring. Muse is going to look good besides Space. I think Muse and Space, we've seen them on live streams recently. Like, they are a really good tank duo so far, what we have seen. And this is going to be a very aggressive tank duo as well. This will be a top tank duo for sure next season. Hopefully Gladiators does not dip, you know, because we always think every season with the Gladiators, they have a really good roster. We really hype it up, but it doesn't hit our expectations. I really hope this tank duo really hits our expectations, though, because they have some hardcore potential and they need to hit it. And I think they will hit it. I think they will. I'm excited to see how this tank duo works out. I know I've hyped up Muse a lot in my videos, but I wanted it to come through. These guys are really good tank players. I think it will come through. Shredlock and Fry. See, this is where I would put D tier because I think they're better than the Houston Outlaws tank duo. They really are. That's why okay. Chat, what do we think of this look here? What do we think of this? Thoughts? I take the Vancouver Titans duo any day. I really would. Shredlock can play all the tanks. He may not be the best of the best tank player at it, but we've seen in the past in contenders that he was really good on Winston, on Reinhardt, and Arissa. He's solid all around on the tanks. Then you have Fried, who is just a... I hope he hits it. If he plays like he does on these Atlanta Rain days, he's going to be a top off-tank player once again on this team, really improving this team out by a lot. I would take this tank duo over the Houston Outlaws duo any day of the week. They are going to be hopefully solid coming in. But when I look at the Houston Outlaws duo compared to Vancouver Titans, I'm seeing way more flexibility with the Vancouver Titans tank duo compared to the Houston Outlaws duo, personally, by a lot. That's my thoughts here. I think Vancouver, with just Fried being there, really helps his team out by a lot. Obviously, they're in D tier, which looks bad, but like it's an upgrade over Houston's personally. But anything can happen. They have a Junk Buck, which is way better than Vancouver Titans coaching staff by a lot. But just as tank duos, as we see them on the screen right now, I would take the Vancouver Titans duo over the Houston Outlaws. NYXL and Bianca. C or B with this one? C or B with this one. Yakbong has really improved himself in contenders. Same thing goes with Bianca, even though he was benched all season long in the NYXL. When he did come in, though, he looked really solid. Let me put him B's. Let me put him B. Yakbong has really looked good. On the NYXL, I think he'll look good. Same thing goes with Bianca. The only thing I'm really worried about when it comes to the NYXL is why I actually put him pretty low in my power rankings is that the coaching staff really has not changed that much. Personally, even though they did change a few people around, it really hasn't changed that much. But I do think all around that coaching staff, it does seem very solid. Which honestly, B tier for me, I've noticed is always just a solid tier. Yakbong has really improved a lot on the Reinhardt, the Winston, the Arissa, all on O2. And I think him coming into the Overwatch League, he'll finally get to prove himself once again. Then you have Bianca, who was benched all season long. Unfortunately, he got some playtime near the end of NYXL. But in contenders, he looked good on the Sigma, the Diva, occasionally the Hog. I think we'll see that once again on this team. Finally going to be starting majority of the time with Yakbong. I think this is going to be a really good tank duo, personally, coming in the next season. I do think that for sure. And I hope they do end up beating a lot of the tank duos we see on our screen right now. Now, when it comes to the A tiers and S tiers, that's going to be rough. But I do think they could easily beat B tier below tank duos. Paris Eternal. So yeah, I watched the tournament, the Steel Series tournament. I do not think Don, I think to say his name, and Elivote honestly did not look as bad as people made him out to be. I knew Elivote's been pretty all right of a player. Same thing goes with Dan, to say his name. Same thing goes with him, but I will probably put him D because I think the Atlanta Spitfire and the Atlanta Rain probably have a better tank duo. Personally, I do think they are just a tiny bit better. Could they be F tier? Maybe a tiny bit better than Chengdu and Piggy. Maybe. If people put him in F tier, I honestly wouldn't be that mad about it. I understand where they're coming from. But these guys have shown potential in the past and already showed potential in the Steel Series tournament. On top of this, they're very flexible tank players. Elivote can play all the off tanks, almost all of them. And same thing goes with Don. Philadelphia Fusion, Poco, and Mano. Like, Mano's there, but like, it's not that big as a downgrade as people say it is. Even though, yes, I'm worried about it. I'm put him in the middle. I'm not putting him in B or C. Mano coming in, you have 9K. You know, they don't have KDG anymore, which is a loss, but they have 9K, who's also a really good head coach. Is he KDG level? I don't know about that one just yet. Yeah, Poco, who's really good. He's looked almost on the same level as Fury at some points, I would say, last season. I think Mono and Pogo still going to be good. Yes, way kind of a downgrade, but I've hope in this tank duo. I'll put him A for now. I do think, though, they could easily be S tier, though. I think that stays there. But yeah, Mono, Poco, I think they're going to be A tier, potentially S tier as well. Well, don't need to change much because it's working. Smurf, Choi Hyobin, We could potentially see Super come in, you know, with Ryan's already having some playtime here and there. But Smurf proved himself since season 2. Looked good. Put them over Dallas? Oh, for sure. Nothing much really to talk about here at the tank duel, honestly. Smurf has been consistently high tier main tank player on the Winston, the Rhine, the Orisa. Every game, every week, this guy is insanely good. Then you have Shui Hyobin, one of the best off tank players in the league all around, all time, I should say, since season 1. Really helped out the Shock back then. Then you have season 3, back-to-back champions. I'd say a lot because of this guy. Very flexible off-tank player that plays everything pretty fast and learns it pretty fast. Like the same thing goes with the Sigma, the Diva. Nothing much is going to change with these guys. They're still top tier. You still have Smurf. And on top of that, you're bringing Striker again. You have Glister. It's going to be a good year for the Shock again. Hopefully they don't. I really don't want to see him win again, but they have fantastic players, honestly. Then we have, this is a weird one, Gesture and 2U. See, 2U is a really good off-tank player, and we saw that when he got the 2-way contract. But Gesture and Marvel, very inconsistent main tank players. It's up and down all the time with Seoul Dynasty, because if you guys remember last season, if you remember that, it was up and down the entire time. So much with the main tank players. And I think this will be the tank duel. Marvel 2U, Gesture 2U. Gonna be one of those. But I think if I'm really like basing it off the inconsistencies Seoul has almost every year, I'm putting them B tier. Now, if they are really consistent, easy A tier, potentially even S tier for sure. But just I really want to play it safe with these guys because they are very, very inconsistent. Very inconsistent. Seoul Dynasty is. And Gesture was a part of that. Marvel was a part of that. But like I said already, 2U could easily help it. Easily help it. Shanghai Dragons, Fate, and Void. These guys look good. Nothing much really changes. I'll put them second. Where's Dallas Fuel again? Right there. Easy S. I mean, if y'all watch the tournament, you can tell they scrimmed for a while now. I said it in my videos before, but if you haven't heard me say it before, if you took the Shanghai Dragons names off of the most recent tournament, I still would have thought Fearless was on the team, but no, Fate was there. I think Fate and Moon are really going to do well together and really help Fate upgrade his play by a lot. Be super aggressive a player of a main tank player with the Rhine, the Winston. I personally think that by a lot. And nothing much is going to change, honestly, with the Shanghai Dragons. I do think that Fate is going to be better than Fearless. He could be. With you saying that, Fate, obviously under Moon again, could, you know, they had Fate plays Reinhardt probably better than Fearless. Same thing goes with Orisa. Same thing goes with Ball. And that is really good with Fate and also the Shanghai Dragons all around, because if they want to play those metas now, they can easily transition to that with Fate being in the roster because of that. Because Fearless, you know, he was up and down on the Reinhardt. It was not bad, though. It was not bad on the Reinhardt, not bad on the Orisa, not bad on the Ball. But when you compare it to Fate and how Fate's going to be on this team with Moon coaching is going to be really good, top tier for sure. Fate's aggression will also go really well with DJ Gaunt for sure, absolutely. I think Fate under Moon, once again, on this team is going to be a huge upgrade to his playstyle. I do think that. Sato and Michelle. See, it's weird because we haven't seen Michelle since season 2. We have not. Sato we've seen every year. He's had ups and downs in season 2. He's going to be on this new team, which is not really saying a lot because this team is really aggressive. It's on also of KDG. Very aggressive team that really helps Sato's his playstyle. We saw that last season for the Philadelphia Fusion. It is interesting. Now, maybe a hot take for me to put him B. Maybe. But we have not seen Michelle in a minute. But we've seen Sato dominate. And it makes me want to put him A tier. Makes me want to put him B tier because you have KDG. Because KDG is a fantastic coach with the coaches beside him as well. I'm putting him A. But I could easily see these guys going B tier because they don't perform that well. But I do think out of all the A's, Florida Mayhem and Toronto Defiance could easily fail. Hopefully Sato plays well with this new Toronto Defiance team. Then we have Mag and Fury. Let's just... That's it. Mag, Fury. Mag has been the best main tank in contenders for a minute. For a minute. Washington finally got him. Then you have Fury that you needed honestly, like, you had Rhea, but they got Fury quick too. Like, Fury and Mag is going to be a scary tank duo coming into next season, and I'm so excited to see how that turns out. With the most recent Steel Series tournament as well, Mag's scary, man. Mag is scary of a Winston player, and I'm so excited to see how that works out with Fury. That support duo looked good as well in the Steel Series tournament. Like, Mag really fit Washington Justice, and I'm so excited to see how this works with next season full-time. Screaming full-time as well. I'm excited to see how this tank duo works out. I'm excited because they look good so far. They are easily better than majority of the tank duos below them. Instantly, easily. And they're definitely on the level of the S-tier tanks as well. Washington didn't play in the Steel Series. You're right. Washington played in the open scrim against Seoul Dynasty. That's correct. That's what I meant to say. But either way, they still looked top tier. Either way, they still look top tier against Seoul Dynasty. I think they've had, some scrim time, right? Both Seoul and Washington, they look good. I think Washington's actually been scrimming for a while, actually, if I remember what Pre said. But they look good. They already been working all that team synergy together, building up that chemistry. Like, these guys look good. I think they'll be one of the best tank duos for sure coming in the next season. And same thing goes again, chat, if you want to do this tank duo yourself, ! Tier list. And people watching the video on YouTube, it's in the description below.